a boat and go, go, go. Have more fun on the H2O. Get with it, get a boat. Get with it.
La 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 la.
Get with it, get a boat. Get with it, get a float. Get with it, get a boat.
That's what I like to call the deuce.
All right.
Get with it, get a boat. Get with it, get a float. Get a boat and go, go, go. Have more fun on the H2O. Get with it, get a boat. Get with it, get a float. Get with it, get a boat. Get with it, get a float. Get with it, get a boat.
East Coast Horror Group.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
East Coast Horror Group presents Dead Art Movie Reviews.
Salutations and mutilations. You're listening to East Coast Horror Group presents Dead On Movie Reviews. Tonight, we will present horror movie reviews and lively debate here on EastCoastHorrorGroup.com and on future select Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. You can join our live chat at that time by clicking on the live show's link on the EastCoastHorrorGroup.com website. I'm your host, Tim Kretschmann, coming to you from the east coast of Lake Michigan. It's my honor to introduce the Faculty of Fear panel presenting tonight's lectures. We start at the conventions. He drinks till he's blotto. He's the meat. He's Mr. Rich DALZOTTO. How are you doing, Rich?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on the show.
We're so very happy to have you on the program. And we invite you to drive somewhat safely tonight.
No.
He's drunk.
Okay, great. Next we go to Rambling Up from his pit in Pittsburgh, the purveyor of the dark with a healthy helping a snark. He is a legend of tooth decay because he has gingeritis. It's little baby Drew face Poos Seidler.
Spoos.
Poos.
I hate all you guys can die.
Gingeritis.
And finally, the man they call the face of Jason, a sincere zombie apologist. He's the man of two voices, Coach Michael Exler, the Dean of Students. Hey, Mike.
Hi, Tim. I'm currently still mourning the passing of AOL
Instant Messenger?
AIMRIP.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Long Dick 69 will forever be gone now.
That's the first time you ever picked up a minor was using that application.
It was when I was 15. I started using that when I was 14. I am now 37. I mean, I obviously stopped when AOL became obsolete. But...
No, I thought you still had that.
No.
You were still using AIM, dude.
I don't.
AFK.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, I remember there, what was it, like for 4 years, AOL was the hot thing, and I must have got like 50 CDs to install AOL on my computer during that time.
Well, there was AOL and there was something else. I can't remember what that something else was.
CompuServe was the other
Yeah,
one.
that's it.
And I actually was on that one. I was on Genie. I used something called, listen to this. At one point, internet, they started doing free internet, but you would still have to dial in. So I joined something called Blue Light. It was Kmart's free internet application. It was, based on Blue Light specials. And I got free internet from Kmart, but there were like banner ads all over. I was actually like surfing on a postage stamp was all that you could actually see after you got past all the banner ads. But anyway, that was going down memory lane. Hey, by the way, Mike, this is October. It's Halloween month.
Yeah, it is.
We have a Friday the 13th coming up. At the end of this week, we have a Friday the 13th in October. Anything
Truth.
special coming up on the website?
Well, if I was smart, I would have thought to release the Jason panel from Louisville on the 13th, but I'm not smart, so no, there's nothing special.
Oh, just re-release it. No, nobody noticed. Just re-release
It's
it.
true. It's
Yeah,
true.
Just re-release it.
Yeah.
We'll use content over and over.
It's like brand new.
I'm sure you have at least 5 more of that panel somewhere on hard drives.
This is the only one with Warrington Gillette and homophobic slurs, though.
Okay.
Yikes.
That
That's
is-
true.
that is awesome.
And I'm not lying on either one.
By the way, I don't know if you follow the Facebook page Scream at the Screen, one of our other East Coast Horror Group pages, but we're actually putting out every day another Halloween pinup picture from the golden age of movies and stuff. They used to take the young starlets and they would take pictures of them around like pumpkins and witches and stuff. It's very mild stuff, but it's kind of funny to think that that's what they used to do in the old studio system.
Is that what Harvey Weinstein did?
Oh, you beat me to it, you
Oh,
bastard.
You know, I was setting that up too. I'm glad you guys are awake. So, great, fantastic, good job. All right, I think it's time. People didn't listen for our opening remarks. They listened for fantastic reviews, and we're gonna start with our guest host, the Meat, Rich DALZOTTO. Rich,
Why
what
are we
have you
calling
been
him the
watching?
meat?
That you came up with that nickname. Do you not recall?
Me?
Yes.
No, shut the fuck up.
You came up with that nickname because you were the sandwich at one of the conventions.
Uh,
You were
Sounds like
welcome.
something Drew would say.
Rich, what have you been watching?
I'm going to review Cult of Chucky.
I
I've
saw
heard
that
of this
too.
movie.
Now,
You've heard of
first, Rich,
Yeah.
something we need to establish. Did you like the other Chucky movies? And, you know, that needs to also play into this. Because I know there are some people that just love Chucky and there's others that hate it.
Okay, well, I enjoyed the first one. I think it's a good movie that I can go back and watch and enjoy. Everything since then, I pretty much have... Oh, hang on 1 second. Yeah, could I get a number 1, no cheese? Let's do medium.
Is
Coke
this
for the
fucking
drink.
dude serious? Oh,
And,
you gotta be fucking kidding me. Is he for
And,
real in the drafting right now?
Could I get a number 10?
He's
No.
hungry.
What a piece of shit.
No
Talk about
sauce.
meat.
Medium.
You.
And
How does
can I get a
Mike-
root beer for the drink?
I'm out of here.
That's it, thank you.
Literally, you couldn't be any more disrespectful than that.
Okay.
Fuck everybody you've ever loved. You're kidding.
Oh my God, I'm behind a truck right now. The guy painted on his tailgate. I kneel to God, I stand for our flag, and he's got a big like Ghostbuster symbol, but it has the NFL in it with it instead.
Yikes.
So, anyhow, where were we?
The chat room is telling you to get Szechuan sauce. So,
This is Wendy's, not McDonald's.
okay.
Oh, so anyhow, I like the original Chucky or Child's Play.
Yeah.
I
The
thought it was
first two I thought were good.
a good movie. 2 was okay. But you know, it's definitely a series that continued to go downhill.
Yeah.
Regardless, I was I went in with an open mind watching this film, Cult of Chucky, and I have to say it is by far, since the original, the worst movie they've put out.
What? There's some real bad ones.
Hey, did you forget Child's Play 3 that plays out in a military school?
Yeah.
Dude, that was the best one. Dude,
No.
Shut the
jump-
fuck up.
dude throws himself on a grenade, man. That's awesome.
No.
I have
no.
forgotten nothing.
Oh.
Hi, how are you doing?
1483.
Thank you. Yeah. So anyhow,
You spent $15 at fucking Wendy's.
I gotta feed the boy. He's a teen.
That motherfucker got a salad. The rest of that is yours.
Yeah, you're gonna toss my salad, boy.
Ugh.
Aw,
Thank you too.
yikes.
So anyway, no, movie starts out. I'm not gonna give too much detail because really the movie has no detail. It's just a piece of crap. But opening scene, you've got a return of Alex Vincent. From minute one, you really don't know why the hell he's in the movie, regardless of the fact that he's the original, boy from the movie. It just didn't feel right from the opening scene. Then it moves
Does his
forward.
acting improve at all since he was 6?
No, go worse.
Probably it went downhill. So then we get what's Brad Dourif's daughter's name? Fiona.
Can't act Dorif
Well,
.org.
Yeah, something.
Anyway, story moves over to focusing on her, and she's in the asylum, and essentially what happens is a bunch of crazy people, group meetings, that kind of stuff, and deaths happening, and psychiatrists trying to tell people, well, Chucky doesn't exist, and trying to convince them all these bad things happening to people are natural things. But of course, as you can imagine, Chucky is alive. Which, that actually, the only point I have about this movie, that for a second, and I told Mike this earlier, for a minute I thought maybe they were pulling a Friday the 13th Part 5. If you guys recall, Jason wasn't in that movie. It was all in the mind. I thought maybe they were pulling that, and for a second I was willing to say, okay, at least they tried something different, and it's okay. But no, the movie just sucked so bad that they gave you that vibe, but Chucky was there the whole time. So it just, I don't know. It made the story really just, wasn't a good story. What do you think, Mike?
No, I don't know how in the day of CGI and effects that the doll looks better in the 1980s version than it does in this version.
Oh yeah, the doll looked like trash. I could not believe
Yeah,
how bad the doll looked.
I
You
don't
too,
know
thank
if
you.
they just decided to write a script in the bathroom.
Really? The sound was bad too?
No, write the script in a bathroom.
Oh, I thought you said it sounded like they were reading it in the bathroom.
No,
No, that would be the actual the Blade Runner movie. There's so much echo in that stupid thing. But,
Brad Dourif sounds like Chucky, and he's Chucky, so that
That's
happened.
how
That's
old
the only
is he
good-
now? He's got to be like 70 something, right?
97. 97.
Brad Dourif is
Dourif.
7 years old.
Really?
No, I have no idea how old he
But-
is, but his voice sounds the same. He sounds
Does
like
it?
Chucky.
Okay.
Charles Lee Ray. It's funny because the Cult of Chucky. We won't spoil it for you if you'd want to watch it, but it involves. Remember the saying that Charles Lee Ray had to say to get
Yeah.
move his body over.
Kalima.
No, that was from Temple of Doom.
No, I've got a soundbite of it. Hold on, I prepared.
Kalima.
No, hold on.
It's got boobs.
There we go.
So, how the Cult of Chucky is created, there would have been a Cult of Chucky through the entire series, because every time that saying is said, then shit happens.
Exactly.
But I digress that it's terrible. Brad Dourif's daughter Fiona can't act for shit.
I really wish she was in a
I
wheelchair.
actually thought the last movie before this, what was it, Curse of Chucky or something?
Yeah, that was the best one since like 2, I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really thought that was fairly decent.
Yeah, Curse of Chucky was decent. They took a complete 180 and was like, hey, let's just
But
shit all
if-
over this.
If you look at the Chucky movies, it does it a couple of times, because like Bride of Chucky came out of freaking nowhere. It wanted to be a horror movie at the beginning of the series. Then Bride and I think it's Seed of Chucky, those two were comedies. They were straight up comedies.
This film did not forget about those either.
Oh,
Well, and that was one of the problems I had with it.
Yeah, because
They felt like they were basically, it was a callback to their career in the Chucky movies, and they were just patting themselves on the back. And it was like,
yeah, so she was in it. The girl that played Tiffany, what's her name?
Jennifer Tilly,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
both of her.
Yeah, her and the doll version of her. It felt sort of like an add-on, like, oh shit, we need to add these people.
Yeah.
But my question is, this is the original writer and director of Child's Play.
He's done
Right.
all of them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No,
Yikes.
That
I didn't
guy-
think he did all of them.
No, he did all of them. He didn't direct the first one, but he did write all of them. And at some point, and I think it was Bride of Chucky, he started directing them as well.
He's always a judge on Halloween Wars on fucking Food Network.
Is he?
Yeah, and I want to fucking can't.
By
They
the
must
way,
know he's
the
available.
Chat room
Yep.
tells us Brad is 67,
Nope. 97.
97. Okay, you got that wrong, chat room.
I got a couple of questions. So you mentioned the little chant they have to do to transfer his body. Does it have to be a good guy doll? Do they have to go hunting for like a new fucking good guy doll?
It's
we
actually
don't
a
wanna-
chase pop they need to find.
Because they have like real dolls now and shit. You could like make a doll that was as big as a human, right? Like what the fuck?
Like the one you have in your closet.
Exactly, like the one
Yeah.
that I rape on a daily
Yeah.
basis. Yeah.
no.
I don't think we can answer that without spoiling some of the movie.
Well,
I don't
no.
care.
I mean, the reason the doll is there because someone had saved them from the '80s, the original good guy dolls,
Yeah.
and they were able to track them down like on eBay or something. So she was in a mental institution, and they were trying to get people over their fears. So that's why they had the dolls there.
1 out of 12 is named Chucky, we found out. That was an interesting fact.
Yeah, 1 out of 12 of the good guy dolls produced for that thing. 1 out of 12 was Chucky.
Interesting.
No,
No,
What were the other names?
Miles.
they didn't share that.
Hi, I'm Miles. What a fuck?
But yeah, this movie is just no wonder it went straight to Netflix because I'm sure nobody else wanted it. If I had to guess,
Oh, no doubt. Netflix should be embarrassed to have it on there.
yeah,
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah. Think I'd pay for that shit?
yeah. No, it's right on Netflix, right there for you to click on
Well,
and watch.
it's probably time. Rich, on a A to F scale, what would you give as the grade for
F.
Well, that was
F.
kind of anticlimactic.
Oh, what am I supposed to do?
No,
I'm not a
no,
regular.
that's fine. There you go. F.
You want me to order? Should I just pull over and order a milkshake and shut up?
No.
Drew's milkshake brings all the boys to his butt.
An F. Our first F in a little bit of time.
Yeah, maybe for you.
Okay. All right. Well, we might as well get this going. It is time now for Drew. Drew, it's your turn. What have you been watching?
I watched the movie Alien Covenant. 2017 film directed by Ridley Scott. Tim, you've seen this movie before, right?
I saw it early in its run, I think, actually.
Yeah.
I watched it too.
I also saw it.
Okay, good,
This should
great,
be good.
wonderful.
This should be a good discussion. Go ahead, Drew.
So, this is the latest Alien film. I don't think I have to run down what the Alien films are. You're in outer space. There's aliens. They hurt you.
Okay.
So this time,
I'm with you. So
we are on a course to colonize a new world. with the crew of the Covenant, which is James Franco for like 5 seconds, Michael Fassbender, who plays Walter on the original crew. Obviously, he's David from Prometheus. He plays the android. Billy Cudrup, who is Dr. Manhattan. Danny McBride, who plays a character called Tennessee, who was just kind of, his character is kind of like Smokey the Bandit, kind of like Southern like race car driver, but some pilots a spaceship. Anyway, so the original mission is to go and colonize a new world. They've studied this for decades and decades and decades and found out that this was the ideal spot for another Earth. So, of course, about 10 years into their hypersleep or something like that, they decide, let's go, of course. Found something better. So they do this. And finds out that, maybe the reason they didn't find that planet and the decades and decades and decades of research that they did was because it's really fucking dangerous. So, of course, this is a planet where there's aliens everywhere. They aren't exactly the xenomorphs that we remember, at least not in the beginning of the film.
They're a neomorph.
Yeah. Then what these do is that they're transmitted through the air by stepping on spores. And the thing that, I don't know, that I can't get past, and the first guy who gets the spores pisses me off probably more than anything, but I don't know if you've ever seen astronauts before, right? The astronauts are basically, if you combined Stephen Hawking's and a Navy SEAL, like the most impossible people in the world. The standards for NASA within the next 60 or 70 years, this takes place in 2104 or something, have gone down drastically because these guys could barely pass the driver's test. So they find out it's dangerous. The neomorphs go up their nose, and the one thing I really, really enjoyed about this film, and not something that happens a lot to me anymore, is we all know that the xenomorph kind of gestation period and how that goes about. Face hugger and kind of like impregnates you after you look in the egg, and then it comes out of your chest, and there's the chest burster, and blah, 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 right? We all know about that.
Right.
So, this one is you inhale it, and then it fucking explodes from inside of you out of your fucking spinal column. It looks like you swallowed a piece of dynamite, dude. I was like, holy fuck, the first time that thing busted out of him. And just guts and shit just go everywhere. And they're so aggressive immediately. They come out like a half-grown xenomorph.
Okay,
and
hold on, Drew. You saw the whole movie, right?
Yeah.
This was your complaint?
No, my complaint was that the crew is fucking stupid.
This is not the thing I complain about with this movie. I'm finding this fascinating. Okay.
So
there's stupid characters in every horror movie I've ever seen.
I just feel like if you look back, even in movies like the original Alien, they were doctors and astronauts. It just seems like they get exceedingly more stupid as time goes on.
Wow, okay.
Like you look at a movie like Event Horizon, and they all seemed, relatively well-educated and not completely devoid of logic and self-preservation instincts.
That's right. That lady school teacher went up one time.
Sally Ride, and then she died, dude. Wow. Anyway.
Yep.
He was smart though.
Man. Oh man. Talking about the Challenger explosion. Where was that? Okay. So once they're totally fucked, they stumble across David from the Prometheus expedition, who was the one sending the signal which led them there in the first place. He and Walter, the current android on board, develop an interesting relationship. Walter is a previous model. They didn't quite get all the bugs out yet, as I kind of explained. Walter is a more, I guess, subservient model. So there's a little bit of back and forth between them. You kind of get the feeling that David feels superior to humanity. There's kind of a... Are you fucking joking right now?
Gotta eat, man.
Drew?
Did Drew leave?
I don't know.
No, I didn't fucking leave. So, okay, I'll just speed it up. He,
I'm sorry, I thought we needed more Pennywise.
you find out that David really hates humans, and he developed the perfect thing, and it's a xenomorph. And that's where xenomorphs come from, the end.
Sure it wasn't a flute? Because there was about 3 minutes of a flute recital in the middle of the movie.
There was.
See, I find it very interesting. You introduced that relationship of Fassbender on Fassbender scenes as interesting, and I thought that took the entire movie and brought it to a complete and utter halt. And I would actually go as far as to say you could cut out every sequence with Fassbender in it, and I think the movie would be improved about 35%.
See, I think the reason they needed 2 Fassbenders is because the rest of the cast was that fucking awful.
I don't know that the cast was awful. The things that they were doing was awful. But I don't know that
I didn't like Danny McBride in this at all.
I think Danny McBride had the richest character in the group. He had the most to do. The rest of them are all kind of interchangeable, I thought.
I mean, the movie is just a heavy-handed allegory for, should we, create AI, and just creation in itself, where did life start, blah, blah, blah. Not blah, blah, blah. It's interesting stuff to think about. And if you're into that kind of stuff, you probably enjoyed the mythos and the story more than most people do.
I feel like this is a Blade Runner alien mishmash, to be quite honest, because both this one and Prometheus, it was like there was philosophy discussions, but there wasn't good alien action going on. And, I've watched the first Alien again recently, and I actually liked I liked that movie because it wasn't as heavy-handed. It's more of an action horror movie, and then the second movie is really an action movie. Very little horror. It's an action movie, and then you got the other ones that were made. But this is more of like a Blade Runner science fiction story. And by the way, we're going to throw the alien in, because when we made an alien movie without any aliens, people said, "What the fuck?" With Prometheus.
They did, man. People were really pissed at that movie.
I, as far as I'm concerned, if you wanted to make a movie that had nothing to do with Alien, I would have liked it more than what he came up with Prometheus, where it's like, well, I'm going to dance around the subject and then never give you what you want. And that was my problem with this. He did have a couple of scenes where he gave you good alien action, but you had to get through a lot of crap to get to those scenes.
You did have to go through a lot, I will say that. I thought it drug a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking for an alien film, but I guess this just wasn't it.
I want the kind of feel of the Hunter and the Hunted, like the first Alien was. And they've gone more towards, in these films, the mythos and the story, and that's fine.
Well,
and I'd like to hear about that stuff.
The first one was a haunted house movie, and it was haunted by the alien. And a lot of it was fun because instead of sneaking around in a haunted house with a candle on, one of those candle holders, you had a flamethrower and you're going through the ductwork of the ship. And to a certain extent, you had that in the second movie as well. And then it went other directions with the other films. But this one, I just felt like I would love to see somebody do a Phantom Menace type edit on this thing where they would take out all the preposterously ridiculous, over-the-top philosophy crap, cut it down to, I don't remember how many hours this movie was. It felt like it was like a 2:15 or so. Cut it down to about 90 minutes, and I think you would have a much more fun and entertaining film at the end of the day.
I guess that's a good way to put it. I didn't really feel entertained much through the film. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe the Fassbender thing did slow the movie down a little bit for me.
But I mean, that's the thing, right? He's the protagonist and the antagonist.
He is.
You mean take Fassbender out of it? There's no plot.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I can see that.
This was a thinking man's movie, so I liked it.
You fucking idiot.
They did kind of go with the more of a thinking film as opposed to just a scary and then an action film. I mean, they had the one with the dude that played Rock on TV. Not Dwayne Johnson, but there's Rock.
Yeah, Charles Dutton, is that it?
Charles S., sir.
No, Charles S.
Yeah. He was the garbage man. Did you ever see that?
No.
You didn't?
No, what are you talking about?
The TV show, Rock.
Oh, I saw like an episode or two. I never really got into that show.
It's good.
What?
There must have been something else on against it. Because I used to watch all that stuff.
But he was in
Mama's
Alien.
Family was.
He was in Alien 3.
Right. That was the one, was it
terrible.
Fincher? I think Fincher directed that one.
It was bad. What would you have done to make this movie better, Drew?
I think that it's hard to say. He wants to do these movies with Alien Covenant and talk about and Prometheus, where he wants to talk about the creation, blah blah blah. And I think that you can do that, but then you have to. And I think they tried to do it with this movie and they didn't do it well enough. Is you have to have a good marriage of setting off this story into the original Alien, and they're trying to get there. I bet they'll probably do it one more time. And this, I think, went too far into the alien part, as far as them actually fighting an alien.
I don't know if they're going to make another one, because this one, I know...
It lost about $20 million, but...
Yeah. I don't think you continue when you're losing money.
In Hollywood, that's a victory.
Well, I don't know if it made its money back when it went... when it went overseas or not. But I don't know. I don't think anybody's calling out for it. I think this has a lot of the same problems that George Lucas's prequels had. I don't think there was anybody on the set that was willing to say, Ridley, you're showing too much of the goddamn blowing the flute. People want to see the monster. You know, there was just too much of that stuff. Unless you get somebody that's willing to say no to your very expensive director, it's tough, I think.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Your obsession with this flute thing. Are you the guy in California that dipped all those flutes in semen and then handed them out to students?
I love this story. What?
What happened?
What?
Yeah, I think it was California. This
Shut the fuck up!
guy,
Somebody
like,
dipped all the tips of the recorders in fucking jizz.
That's basically what he did. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like he made them and donated them for all these kids at schools. And...
People are the worst ever.
Well, how did they figure it out?
That's
you know what? That's the part I can't figure out is how they like.
That's
like,
my tipping
maybe one of
point.
the maybe one of the little kids is like, "This tastes like daddy."
Oh.
Oh no! Oh.
Well, maybe they thought it was just like sesame seeds, but it was a different type of seed.
Oh. No, dude. Rick just said it tastes like daddy.
Why do you always call him Rick?
Rich. I mean, what?
Tastes like daddy.
That's awful.
Yeah,
No,
Google
for
it.
real,
You'll find
does
the
like
article.
someone in that school, the parents are just real strict and like, I must check everything for semen.
Oh my god.
They put it all under a blacklight when it comes in there.
Just to see. Make sure. I
Wow.
don't know. I need to look at this.
God.
Amazing.
Well, that's the end of that review.
Yeah. I think we put a button on that one. So it's time for you to give me your grade on this spectacular film.
I'll give it a B.
A B.
Ooh.
Look at
Oh, soul.
It's rather
Or in
enjoyable.
this case, B sharp.
that.
Oh no, with the music reference, just the jizz tips.
Oh, jizz, don't call it that.
Wow.
Jizz tips. Dude, yes, that is why Tim loved the flute so much, dude.
All
You
right.
We just put it together.
Next, it's time
It
for
tastes
Mike.
under
Mike, what
flute,
have you
dude.
been watching?
All right, I watched. How you supposed to do a review after all that?
Fassbender's flute.
I watched 2017's surprise hit Victor Crowley. This was is someone dying into the mic.
It's
I'm
Rich
still laughing.
talking
Can't
about.
stop laughing.
Oh shit, dude.
Sorry.
It's the
All right,
worst
I'm
story
good.
ever.
The worst was when he did the show naked
Ugh.
on video.
No, dude, I'd rather see Rich naked than give a bunch of jizz-tipped flutes to kids. Absolutely, I'd rather see that.
Ugh. Well, now there's a soundbite of you just saying that. So
Oh,
the first portion, just cut it out.
Let's see. That was at 49.
Jesus.
Yeah, go on.
Well,
All right.
no, I can never run for office.
There's
So.
tears dropping on my French fries.
So, for those that don't know, they made this movie in secret. Nobody told anybody about it. It was essentially the Hatchet 4 film. So, Adam Green has been doing a roadshow with this film, going all over the U.S. and such places. And it landed in our small little town of Pittsburgh, PA, at the Hollywood Theater. So, I went and I watched it. Adam did a VIP thing, so he, I don't know what he did up there. Signed and talked, I guess.
Played the flute.
With kids. So, yeah, he did a VIP thing, and then he said a few words before the film started, and then the film started. And he asked before that to try to not do any spoilers, because, you know, there's not a lot of talk about the plot details of this movie, because he wants everybody to be surprised and all of that. So I think everybody knows some of the cast. There is some cameos.
So wait, he
that-
told
that
you
you
no
recognize.
spoilers?
Yeah, this is a spoiler-free.
Okay, go ahead. I was ready for what you would troll up. Okay.
So basically, it just picks up with the main character, sort of a forgettable character. I don't even remember his name.
Victor Crowley,
No, the dude that survived.
Master Seymour,
Yes, the Asian gentleman.
Jackie Chan.
Yep. Otis Redding. Just
What?
yelling out weird names. So back to Victor Crowley. So, I'm just gonna say I wasn't a huge fan of it. I think that a lot of the money went to special effects. I think this was the most independent of the Hatchet films, because I think the other ones did have some bigger studios money behind it. The effects looked really good. I will give it that. Victor Crowley looked really good. There was a couple decent kills that you can expect throughout. I didn't really think that the script was very strong. I know Adam was saying beforehand that he thought that this was the best Hatchet script. I think that some of the jokes just fell really, really flat. I could see where they were going for comedy, but it just didn't seem to work. Like, I also felt that the cast didn't seem to have much of a chemistry, if that makes any sense. I just felt like I was watching them perform. I don't know if that makes any sense. It just seemed like a movie rather than like people in this situation together. I don't think this was filmed in a swamp either. I think this was filmed on sound studio stages and such. Maybe some external shots, but essentially takes place in one little area. So I guess that was maybe to cut cost. I don't know. There are people in it that we know. I think they did a good job. Like I said, there's some cameos in there. Not a ton. It's not overboard, which I think he could have made it overboard if he wanted to, but he didn't. So if you like Hatchet, I mean, I guess you're gonna like this one. I think it was just a little heavy-handed on the comedy and a little light on the scares, other than just like crazy kills and a few jump scares here and there. But I don't know. I thought this was really one of the weakest of the stories thus far in the Hatchet trilogy. Now, what do they call 4 movies? Does that
Quadrology.
Quadrology. It's the dumbest name
So
ever.
what do they call that Chucky film? What was it? Sequel number 8 or something?
Seventology.
A Seventology.
Has that just become a franchise at that point?
Scientology. Get it? Because cult.
Cult. Hey, just
Mike.
cult.
Mike,
What?
how did you forget about the great introduction by that sexy guy of Adam Green?
Oh yeah, Rich did this mind-blowing introduction for Adam
I pretty
Green.
much got up there. And said, "Thanks for coming out. Here's Adam Green."
Yeah, that was really what it was.
Yeah.
There was no hoopla involved, and he came
Mike
out
had
and did
been,
his thing.
Mike coached me up for like a half hour before with all this hoopla. He was like fucking Newt Rockney. And then I went out there and did that.
It was a good job. It's a good job. So, again, I didn't want to really spoil this film. I mean, it's capable. If you like the Hatchet series, check it out. For me, I'm just going to give it a C. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't spectacular.
Alrighty, C. Alright. Well, fantastic. So good.
I think you're a liar.
Jambalaya.
You know it. Well, I think those movies kind of have people either love them or not so much, you know?
Well, the theater loved it. They reacted well and all that kind of stuff, so people did like it.
It was a hell of a crowd.
Well, fantastic. Great to hear that. Okay, so I guess it's...
It is.
So,
What are you reviewing, Tim?
I don't know if you guys have heard of this. It's certainly been out long enough.
Mike and I had a one sheet of it.
Did you?
Sorry.
Okay. All right.
What is it?
The movie is 1990s Hardware. Now, I actually saw this
Like
when
True
it was
Value?
in the theaters.
Jesus.
I was not a big fan of the movie at the time, but I had recently seen the movie about the making of The Island of Lost Souls, Island of Dr. Moreau, with the same director. This is the movie that Richard Stanley made before that disaster. And also I picked it because it was produced by Harvey Weinstein, so there you go. One of his
Whoa.
movies. Dylan McDermott. Well, I was gonna watch this anyway because of Richard Stanley, and I'm watching it. And the producer, there's Harvey Weinstein. I'm like, oh my god.
What did he do? Did he rape people? Is that what
Yep.
happened?
Kinda.
Pretty close.
How do you kind of rape
There
someone?
was a lot of casting couch, from what I hear.
Oh,
Right.
I've watched that porn.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, so who's in the movie? Well, Dylan McDermott. Well before, this is years before American Horror Story. Stacey Travis, and Iggy Pop has like a voiceover role. This is the movie that, again, Richard Stanley made after Dust Devil, which I'm told is his best movie. And then this is before Island of Dr. Moreau. Okay, so what's the story? It's a pretty simple story. It's based on a short story, I'm told. You're in a dystopian desert future, and somebody comes along and finds a metal head junk of a robot that's in the desert. The guy gives this metal head to his girlfriend, who is one of those artists that makes stuff out of junk, welds them together. And predictably, because it's a horror movie, the robot comes to life and starts tearing the place up. Okay? So the story is solid. This is a standard horror story. The future that they set up is one of the most dystopian you're ever going to see. I've been ranting and raving about Blade Runner. This thing has a lot of that same atmosphere.
Yeah!
Of kind of like
Tim,
this dirty future, and just kind
did
of
you say there's a robot in there?
There is a robot. Yeah, there's a killer robot.
We have a special guest on the line that I'm going to patch through.
Okay.
It's Rude, the robot.
Okay.
Drew, that's you.
Oh, hello. My name is Rude the Robot.
Okay.
I am a robot and I like to fuck things.
Do you?
Can I fuck you, Tim?
I would prefer that you didn't.
Tim, we should have the sex and then I will die inside of you.
Yeah. Well, I was actually going to say this movie is in a long line of a subgenre of film, the robots running amok, because
We do not run amok.
Would you call Skynet running amok?
Well, I was going to say
Skynet is the overlords of all of us.
I hate this character more than anything. You had Terminator.
I do not know hate, I do not know love, I do not know feelings.
Are you sure you're doing the character at this point? Terminator, Chopping Mall. You have the Ed 209 and RoboCop.
RoboCop is a
Best
racist.
robot.
RoboCop is a racist. RoboCop is a racist.
Sid
Why?
6.7 from Virtuosity. We had Westworld.
That was a good movie, too.
Blade Runner, Ash and Alien, HAL 9000 and the 2001 Space Odyssey, and of course Short Circuit. You have all these robots run amok.
Johnny Five is a bitch.
I would say of that list, this is probably the least interesting. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's a very interesting looking robot, but it's weird
Robot.
looking and kind of spider-like.
Can I see your flute?
Dipped in
Let's see.
semen.
I heard you have a cum flute for me.
One or two.
Can I see the cum flute? I'm done.
Glad to hear
I
that.
can't. No more.
But it has a good story. It's a sci-fi movie with kind of a western feel, and the musical score kind of brings that in. But it's interesting, the music always goes back to like some late 80s hard rock, and from my understanding, the director Richard Stanley did quite a few rock videos. So that's where it's coming from. It's kind of like a western that was made with psych
Jeff Fahey in this?
Jeff Fahey is not in this. You're thinking of
Nope.
Lawnmower
Is that
Man.
being good enough?
I'm
Tim.
thinking what?
Now, Stacey Travis, the female lead of the film, she does have red hair, so I know that turns off a lot of people because she's a ginger.
Oh yeah.
But my understanding is on the set she didn't swallow any souls, and the reason for this is because she was actually fake gingering. She dyed her hair for the movie.
We call that
So-
fingering.
Yeah, but that tells me that Stacey Travis is into self-mutilation. Because why would you dye your hair red? Why would you do that?
You can fuck.
This movie was originally rated X. They had
Rated
to make
X.
significant cuts to get it down to an R. Watching it today, I don't know that I thought there was an X-rated cut of this thing. It didn't seem all that over the top. There must have been a lot more sex scenes or something cut out because I didn't think the gore was all that bad, but they do slice some people in half and that sort of thing. Overall, the movie's loud and overwrought. It has a lot of artsy-fartsy type flourishes, but it's very gritty, very dirty. In fact, some of the images I'm putting up on the screen, you are seeing the robot much better in those still images than you do any time in the movie.
Robot.
It's moving all the time, and it's kind of tough to see in the shadows. I think
In
there's
the
a
shadows.
good movie in there. It just didn't make it onto the film, and I think
What's that
the
scarecrow
reason-
thing?
What?
What's the scarecrow thing?
That is the nomad guy that finds the skull. He's kind of an interesting character, and he's gone within the first 15 minutes. So,
Awesome.
yeah. But, like, the third lead of the movie, there's Dylan McDermott, there's this faux ginger, and then there's a character by the name of
Bojangles?
Shades.
Bojangles, sing a song for
His
me,
name's
Bo.
like Michael Lynch or something like that. This guy that plays Shades is possibly the worst actor I've seen in a horror movie in a long, long time. I mean, he was really bad, and there's no excuse for that. It was just awful, and I think it brought a lot of the movie down. The other thing is, and after watching Blade Runner, I feel that had a lot of this in it too. There was a lot of echo. Whenever people talked, there was a lot of echo. It almost sounded
Echo.
like they must have re-recorded the whole fucking thing later
Dang.
on
Later on.
in a room made of concrete.
Creak.
And it was just, it isn't very good. I have to give it its grade.
Okay,
And
great.
the grade on this one is going to be a D.
Ugh.
D.
Oh.
I give it a D.
Yeah,
know,
you give it the D.
Did any of you
Hey,
guys
Tim.
ever see this movie? This movie's been...
Why would I watch this?
What?
Why would I watch this?
It's a movie that some people really enjoy, but it also gets a lot of, this is the worst movie ever made. I can tell you, we've seen a lot of movies on this show. This is not close to the worst movie ever made. It's bad, but it's not terrible. It's not the worst thing out there.
Hey Tim, along the same line of the robot
Yeah.
horror
Robot.
film, did you ever
Robot.
see the early '80s Saturn III?
I think I must have. Is that the one with like Farrah Fawcett in it?
Yep, you can see some sweet ass titties, and the robot either rapes her or you think he's gonna rape her, and somehow it stops. But either way, it's awesome.
Robots don't even have genitals. Just stop it.
No, this thing is going to go to town on her.
From the images you were showing,
Yeah.
it looked like it could be a good movie. But then you just said it was terrible.
I think some people will enjoy it. But it's not me.
East Coast
I don't know what just.
Horror Group.
Here we go. It wasn't me. I don't know.
Wasn't enough flute.
Yeah, honestly, I think it was the acting in this. And a lot of times I can look past the acting. This one, I just couldn't. It was a little bit too bad. the show, and we're going
Oh,
to
no.
ask, first of all, Mike, anything coming up on the website that people should be checking out?
Just put out the, let me see, the Halloween panel from Louisville, and then we also, Adam had a review from the crypt of Microwave Massacre, so go check that out on the written portion of eastcoasthorrorgroup.com.
Yeah, there's a lot more content out there than there was in the past. There's an interview here I see
Hello?
with Tiffany Arnold, and one of our other dead-ons made it on the front page. How did that happen?
Hello?
A lot of great content, and people should check it out, particularly since it's Halloween time.
Hello?
Drew, what is coming up on From Dusk Till Dawn Radio this week? That, of course, meaning, are we having one?
Guess not.
What happened to Drew? He was saying hello.
Yeah, I think we might have lost him.
Well, that's your answer about Thursday.
I don't know if that's a loss. All right, Rich, I'm sure you want to tell us all about what's going on at the Hollywood. So, what do you want to tell us about what's going on there?
Well, nothing really. I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks very much. Okay, I'm assuming Drew is still off, so we're going to close up the show. Remember, everybody, you can reach out to us by sending emails to eastcoasthg@gmail.com. And the East Coast Horror Group, of course, wishes you all a fun and safe Halloween. Remember to set your neighbors on fire. They deserve it. Remember to turn up the radio, turn down the lights, because it makes Drew look better. That's it for Get On Movie Reviews.
East Coast Horror Group.
We on the air still?
We are.